You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your Security Plus certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Vulnerability scanning tools are designed to continuously discover known weaknesses in systems, networks, and applications. They operate by comparing observed configurations, software versions, and exposed services against databases of documented vulnerabilities. This continuous discovery helps organizations maintain awareness of risks that attackers could exploit if left unaddressed. Unlike penetration testing, which often targets specific assets or scenarios, vulnerability scanning is broad and systematic, producing a regular feed of issues requiring remediation. Hardened organizations rely on these tools as part of their foundational defense, ensuring no asset silently accumulates known exposures over time. Vulnerability scanners can be agent-based or agentless, each with strengths and limitations. Agent-based scanners deploy lightweight software on hosts to collect telemetry locally, offering deep visibility into patch levels, configurations, and vulnerabilities, even when systems are offline or remote. However, they require deployment and lifecycle management, which can be complex at scale. Agentless scanners connect remotely to systems, often using standard protocols, and require no software footprint on the host. While easier to deploy broadly, they may provide less granular insight. Hardened organizations often use both approaches in combination, maximizing breadth with agentless scanning and depth with agents on high-value assets. Authenticated versus unauthenticated scanning further determines the depth of results. Authenticated scans use credentials to log into systems, providing detailed checks of installed software, patch levels, and misconfigurations. These scans are more accurate, but require secure credential management. Unauthenticated scans operate like external attackers, probing exposed services without privileged access. While they show what outsiders might see, they often generate higher false positives and miss deeper vulnerabilities. Hardened organizations run both authenticated scans for thorough coverage and unauthenticated scans to simulate adversary reconnaissance. This dual approach balances internal accuracy with external realism. Vulnerability feed sources underpins scanner accuracy. These feeds draw from the Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures (CVE) database, vendor advisories, and community research. Scanners must update frequently to remain effective, as new vulnerabilities are disclosed daily. Update cadence as critical tools relying on stale feeds quickly miss high-risk flaws. Hardened programs enforce automated, scheduled feed updates, ensuring scanners stay synchronized with the global vulnerability ecosystem. This discipline guarantees that scans reflect the most current threat intelligence and patch information available. Credential management is one of the more delicate aspects of authenticated scanning. Storing passwords insecurely or using overprivileged accounts introduces risk. Best practice is to integrate scanners with vault solutions that store and rotate credentials securely. Service accounts used for scanning should be scoped narrowly, allowing read-only access to configuration data while preventing unnecessary privileges. Hardened organizations audit scanner credential use regularly, ensuring that the very tools designed to enhance security do not inadvertently create exploitable weaknesses themselves. Safe scan configuration balances thoroughness with operational stability. Aggressive scanning can overwhelm fragile systems, crash services, or saturate networks. Configurations such as non-intrusive checks, throttled request rates, and defined maintenance windows reduce disruption risk. Hardened organizations tune scans for sensitivity, ensuring they probe deeply enough to identify vulnerabilities without degrading production environments. Communication with system owners further reduces friction, setting expectations for scan timing and potential impacts. Scanning safety ensures security teams maintain trust with operations rather than being seen as a disruptive force. Coverage is a central challenge in vulnerability management. Modern infrastructures span on-prem networks, cloud accounts, container registries, and infrastructure as code templates. Each domain has unique risks, and scanners must adapt to cover them. IP ranges ensure traditional networks are scanned, while API-driven tools assess cloud accounts for misconfigurations. Container registries require scanning for outdated base images, and IAC templates must be checked for insecure defaults before deployment. Hardened organizations map their environment comprehensively, ensuring no asset domain is excluded from scanning. False positives are a well-known issue in vulnerability scanning. Scanners may misinterpret results or flag vulnerabilities that are patched differently in a given environment. Without validation workflows, these inaccuracies overwhelm remediation teams and erode confidence. Hardened organizations build validation steps into their processes, using manual checks, secondary tools, or contextual evidence to confirm scanner results. This approach reduces noise, ensuring remediation teams only focus on actionable vulnerabilities. Validation preserves the credibility of scanning programs over the long term. Reporting outputs from vulnerability scanners must be structured for action. Raw lists of vulnerabilities overwhelm stakeholders, but prioritized reports highlight the most severe and impactful issues. SLA buckets sort vulnerabilities into timelines for remediation, such as 24 hours for critical flaws, 30 days for medium risks, and longer for low-priority items. Integration with ticketing systems ensures issues are tracked and owned. Hardened organizations design reports for both technical and managerial audiences, transforming scan results into clear action plans rather than static data dumps. Asset context enrichment is essential to making scan results actionable. Knowing that a vulnerability exists is less useful than knowing it exists on a system owned by finance, storing customer data, and exposed to the internet. Enrichment adds owner details, business impact ratings, and operational context. This ensures remediation prioritizes vulnerabilities that matter most to organizational risk. Hardened programs integrate enrichment pipelines directly with scanners, so results arrive pre-contextualized, saving analysts time and focusing effort where it matters most. Scanner performance tuning prevents monitoring tools from creating more risk than they resolve. Poorly tuned scanners may flood networks with traffic or miss assets due to blind spots in discovery. Adjusting scan concurrency, session limits, and asset grouping ensures scans complete efficiently without overwhelming systems. Hardened organizations calibrate performance settings iteratively, validating coverage with inventory reconciliation. This ensures scans are both thorough and stable, maximizing security insights while minimizing operational risk. Ultimately, a well-run vulnerability scanning program balances frequency, depth, and operational safety. Scans must be frequent enough to catch emerging threats, deep enough to identify meaningful weaknesses, and safe enough not to disrupt production. Achieving this balance requires disciplined configuration, comprehensive coverage, and enriched, validated results. Hardened organizations recognize that vulnerability scanning is not simply a technical task, but an ongoing operational practice that requires coordination, governance, and refinement to remain effective in reducing real-world risk. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Automating the conversion of scan results into remediation tickets accelerates response. Instead of relying on manual report reviews, scan-to-ticket pipelines populate tickets with enriched context such as vulnerability IDs, affected assets, owners, and proposed fixes. This ensures issues are tracked in the same systems used by IT and development teams, creating accountability and visibility. Hardened organizations standardize enrichment fields like asset owner, business criticality, and SLA deadlines, so remediation teams know exactly what is expected. Automation reduces lag, turning detection into action more consistently. Scheduling strategies for scanning must reflect the nature of different assets. High-value, internet-facing systems may require continuous or daily scans, while stable internal services may be scanned weekly or monthly. Event-triggered scans add agility running after new software deployments, configuration changes, or the discovery of emerging vulnerabilities. This multi-tiered approach balances thoroughness with resource efficiency. Hardened organizations map assets to appropriate schedules, ensuring sensitive systems remain under constant scrutiny, while less dynamic assets receive coverage at sustainable intervals. Vulnerability feed validation ensures scanners are not flagging irrelevant or obsolete issues. Not every entry in a CVE database applies to a given environment, and some vulnerabilities may be theoretical without practical exploitation. Patch availability is also a critical factor. Prioritization should emphasize vulnerabilities with known fixes. Hardened programs validate feeds and enrich scan results with patch data, reducing wasted effort and focusing on actionable risks. This discipline helps remediation teams trust that vulnerabilities reported truly require their attention. Handling credentials for authenticated scans is one of the riskiest aspects of scanning operations. Service accounts used for scanning must have restricted scopes, granting only the permissions necessary for data collection. Credential rotation prevents long-term exposure, and auditing ensures proper use. Hardened organizations store scanner credentials in vaults, integrating with scanners through secure APIs. This reduces the risk that the scanning infrastructure itself becomes a target, maintaining the integrity of both monitoring and the systems being scanned. Not all vulnerabilities can be patched, particularly on legacy systems or embedded devices. Exception and risk acceptance workflows provide a structured way to handle these scenarios. Exceptions must be documented, approved by appropriate authorities, and revisited regularly. Compensating controls, such as segmentation or strict access policies, should be applied. Hardened organizations treat risk acceptance as a temporary measure, not a permanent solution. Ensuring visibility into unpatchable vulnerabilities remains part of ongoing risk discussions. Multi-tool orchestration extends scanning coverage across domains. No single tool can effectively scan networks, hosts, containers, and third-party libraries simultaneously. By integrating multiple scanners, each specialized in a domain, organizations gain comprehensive visibility. Orchestration tools consolidate results into unified dashboards, preventing duplication and ensuring findings are prioritized consistently. Hardened programs avoid tool silos, ensuring all scanning outputs flow into shared workflows, where risks are analyzed holistically. Retest and verification are critical before closing remediation tickets. Once patches or configuration changes are applied, scanners must rerun against the asset to confirm the vulnerability is resolved. Without retesting, organizations risk prematurely closing issues that remain exploitable. Hardened programs enforce verification as part of their remediation workflows, ensuring tickets only close once evidence confirms remediation is effective. This prevents recurring vulnerabilities from cycling endlessly without resolution. Measuring program health requires tracking key metrics. Coverage percentage shows how many assets are included in scans, while time to remediate measures efficiency. Trends in recurring vulnerabilities highlight systemic issues, such as poor patch management or lack of secure baselines. By analyzing these metrics, organizations can identify weaknesses in both technology and process. Hardened programs publish these metrics regularly, ensuring leadership understands scanning's effectiveness and where improvements are needed. Safe scanning of production systems requires careful strategies. Staged scans validate new configurations in test environments before full rollout. Limited scanning sessions minimize load on fragile services. Close coordination with vendors ensures that known incompatibilities are avoided. Hardened organizations treat production scanning as a collaborative process, balancing the need for detection with the imperative of stability. This prevents monitoring activities from introducing their own operational risks. Integration with red team and penetration test activities validates scanner blind spots. Automated scanning excels at breadth but often misses logic flaws or chained vulnerabilities. Red teams uncover these gaps, feeding insights back into scanning programs. Hardened organizations align vulnerability management with adversary simulation, ensuring that weaknesses scanners miss are discovered and addressed. This pairing strengthens defenses by combining automation with human creativity. Ultimately, an effective vulnerability scanning program requires more than tools. It demands process discipline, automated workflows, and clear ownership. Tools discover, but processes validate and prioritize, while owners ensure remediation occurs. Hardened organizations understand that vulnerability scanning is not about producing reports, but about reducing risk in practice. By integrating tooling with processes and assigning accountability, they build low-noise, high-value programs that consistently strengthen their security posture. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.